Take you back 6 years now, and then Public Protector Thuli Madonsela was asked to look into the dealings between the then President, Jacob Zuma, the Gupta family and state-owned entities. Then we fast forward all the way to 2018 as well, when you saw the Gupta family fleeing the country. And now, of course, the latest developments is that two of the Gupta brothers have been arrested over in the UAE. Well, let's bring into the conversation the former Public Protector Thuli Madonsela. Prof, good morning. Good to have you with us here on the show. Of course, forgive me for almost coughing on air. I'll grab a glass of water in a moment. So your reaction when you saw that news, an arrest, one, but two, there's still a very long road to go down, isn't there? Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth, and to viewers. It's been a long haul, but it's now promising.
Prof, I'm not sure if you've frozen with us. There you are. Sorry, you froze for a moment there, Prof. Forgive me. Continue with your answer. I apologize.
Right. It's been a very long haul, but it is now promising. I was encouraged when it was reported that the Guptas had been arrested and hopefully then will be extradited back to South Africa, because our democracy is based on the rule of law, and according to the rule of law, nobody is above the law, and there should be equal protection of the law. Going with equal protection of the law is equal accountability or answerability. And the Gupta brothers just generally refuse to be answerable from the process of the Public Protector investigation, then the investigation by Chief Justice Zondo. And hopefully now they can be brought back to answer for their alleged crimes.
We're hearing it could take up to a decade from some legal experts. Professor, it could take up to a decade for this extradition process to run its course and go through the various avenues, etc. Do you imagine it could take that long? Is that a worst-case scenario, a decade, or is that a best-case scenario from your understanding of extradition law?
It does take a while because of the appeals. I cannot say upfront how long it could take in Dubai, because I do not know how many steps are available for people to play around with the legal system in Dubai. But just generally, Dubai has proven to be efficient in governance, and it seems to be a country that wants the international community, particularly its trading partners, which include us and the US and many European countries, to believe that it respects the rule of law. But of course, it's up to the judicial system and not the government to make things happen.
Yeah, there's the judicial system as well, which seems to be running smoothly, but hearing as well that so far there's already been concerns from the South African side, a delay in providing administrative information like fingerprints, for example, requested earlier in the year. It took 3 months to get the basics like that over to the UAE, over to Dubai. How concerned are you that South Africa could score an own goal in this when it comes to the investigation side, the prosecution side, and the engaging with Dubai on this extradition? Could we as a country get this wrong for ourselves?
I'm an eternal optimist, and I do believe that with the changes in the NPA and beefing up of resources in the NPA, we're not going to score an own goal. There has been struggles at the beginning, but you said something about could we score this own goal? Part of the reason things have delayed up until now is that during the state capture years, it wasn't that when an institution is captured, only one person is captured. If an institution is captured, there are tentacles that are created in that institution, and a lot of journalists and academics have written about that. And therefore, if you haven't cleaned up the whole system, of course, two things will happen is that some people in the system will on their own resist the progress. But secondly, those in the system may be beholden to people outside who are holding aces on them, threatening them, extorting them, and just generally trying to control what happens in the system.
Do we have any sense about any extradition agreements between South Africa and Dubai, the UAE? Because it's always quite tricky when it comes to extradition law, doesn't it? Do we know if there's an existing agreement? Prof, I'm not sure if you're the right person to talk about that. And if not, in your experience legally, how difficult is it to get two legal systems to try and talk to each other? A last brief answer from you, if you wouldn't mind.
My understanding is that we do have an extradition treaty, but please do check it with the Department of Justice or the Department of International Relations. As I said, the process can take long, but it plays in the public domain. If it takes long, they will obviously apply to court and there'll be a normal court process, as we have seen with, for example, Assange Julian Assange in the UK. If it does happen in July, we'll see the same scenario, but at least there will be arguments put forth as to why they can't come back here.
Professor, as always, good to have you with us on the show. Former Public Protector Thuli Madonsela joining us, of course, and the current Chair of Social Justice at Stellenbosch University. But in this capacity, of course, as we talk about the Guptas, we talk to the Prof in her former role as Public Protector.